Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to a new era of the rap right here live on the Viking Media Network YouTube channel. Happy Tuesday night to you all as we're back here to recap a busy week in WWE as we get ready for WWE Crown Jewel in a couple of weeks' time from Perth, Australia. I'm Keila Cash, and by my side, as always, is my co-captain, my right hand, my ride or die, someone who is still advocating for Ms. Jada Parker from NXT. I bring to you back on the Wrap live on YouTube, the one, the only, Salty Scott Young. Welcome back, Salty.
Thank you for having me. And as always, it's a pleasure to chop it up and talk all things WWE. I'm excited about the conversation, excited to be live on a Tuesday. Feel like the old SmackDown days before Road Dogg took over.
Oh, God. You mean the glory days of 2016 live on USA before Road Dogg got the pin in 2017 and it all went to hell?
No, I mean the days of NXT, and not the NXT with Wade Barrett, but the NXT of, Curtis Axel and Michael McGillicuddy.
Who? Who?
The McGillicutter.
The McGillicutter. Oh my gosh. The memories of NXT. What was that? Season 2, season 3, season 4 of NXT?
I think those two.
Oh man. What a time of the old NXT. That was a competition series on Sci-Fi that had zombies and vampires and sharknadoes at the time too.
Yeah, shout out to Kevin Thorne.
Hey, shout out to him. Shout out to Ariel too. I mean, those were the two back in the day that really carried the freak flag proudly for Sci-Fi during those early days of ECW that eventually was replaced by NXT for a couple of years. So look how far NXT has come. They are a multi-million-dollar brand on the CW, the Melanated Network, and we're about to have not that word that is apparently banned. We're going to have a showdown next Tuesday between NXT and TNA. Who would have thunk that 10 years ago?
Nobody. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The show wasn't great. The buildup has not been good. We're going to get into that. I'm pointing and looking directly at you, Kalani, as always. Looking at you, Kalani, but we'll talk about that later.
Now, why do you have smoke for Kalani? All she did was call. All she did was make the call, answer the call, and she just had to go out there, tap in at the very last minute, and win a championship. Why are we blaming Kalani for this? She didn't do anything wrong. She just simply answered the call, and she made it.
Yeah, and now she's TNA ride or die. She don't even know half of them. She talking about she shared a locker room. I mean, yeah. Listen, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, Kalani. Especially if you're going to turn to be the mole here, not buying it.
Listen, I thought she too was going to be the mole, the traitor. If they're trying to get a Peacock crossover. She could be the traitor of this team, could be the mole, the Trojan horse. I mean, you can really set this up nicely because you got to imagine somebody on one of these teams are going to flip at some point for sure. We'll see about that. But before we dive into the NXT showdown with TNA next Tuesday, which happens to go head to head with AEW Dynamite, same time, on two different networks, kind of keep that ratings were up at least once a year moving forward due to Major League Baseball playoffs. Before we get into all the happenings from NXT, all the happenings from Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, I would be remiss if I don't ask Scott a very important question. And it's not the question he thinks I'm going to ask because we don't have time tonight. The question I'm going to ask is because you've been away for the last couple of weeks. And I just want to get your quick thoughts on WrestlePalooza.
WrestlePalooza is a bit of a mixed bag. We had John Cena out there just falling, taking flat back bumps for no reason, doing that. That was the first match. Then we Stephanie and Io put on a great match. I thought they put on a real good. The mixed tag, I thought the mixed tag was really good. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it accomplished everything it needed to. The main event felt like it was just getting into second, third gear right when they wrapped it up. So for me, it was very just there. It was just another show. I think the hype and the buildup was there. I thought ESPN did a great job. But as far as what we were promised, big surprises, we didn't really get any of that. So it was just another show.
It was. And hello, Fernando, one of our faves. Welcome to the Tuesday night party. We appreciate you. And he also found Palooza. He said, forget the wrestle. Palooza was just disappointing. And I have to agree. I mean, ESPN, I've been watching SportsCenter a lot, and they legit recap in 2 minutes or less the highlights of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and they are promoting these PLEs on SportsCenter. They're doing WWE interviews on these shows, so they are doing their work. They're doing their part. Now we need WWE to do theirs, because you're asking your fans to spend $29.99 if they don't have a deal with Xfinity, for example, and you're asking us to spend that kind of money and you're delivering mediocrity the first go round, and then you're shocked at the feedback that someone from ESPN, shout out to Andres Hells, for writing that write-up, giving that show a C+, as he should have. It was a C+ show.
I don't know if he gave him the plus, but yeah, he's not wrong. Again, if I guess, and maybe I fell into this too. We shouldn't be surprised at what we got. Like, they already got us to watch. They already got us to tune in. They already got their bag. They like, listen, we gave you Cena Brock first. What more do you want? I mean, that's what you wanted. That's what you got. We shouldn't be surprised. Triple H out there just getting money. He don't care what he's giving us right now. I think that has been fairly obvious. So even though I fell into the trap, we should not be surprised at what we got. Look at the Raw we got on Netflix for the premiere. And that was miles better than what we got WrestlePalooza as far as big matches, match quality. Like we got a title change, Riv over Rhea. We got the big Seth CM Punk match. The Rock came out. Star power was bigger. Yeah, I think we shouldn't be surprised at what we got. Even though it was still disappointing, shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Fernando knows it was like a glorified SmackDown show on USA. It was. And too many commercials as well. Listen, here's the thing. If I'm paying for something, paid advertising during the show, I can expect that to have Peacock Premium, for example, and on the Premium Plus feed, at least I'm getting the WWE version of commercials. I'm sitting through whole ass commercials watching WrestlePalooza. I can't fast forward. I can't skip through it. I have to watch all of it. It felt like I was watching a football game. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, especially when there's no tiers and stuff on there. So the commercial thing, yeah, that's just one you have to bite the bullet on. I'm one that has ads, so I'm looking forward to the ads so I can go get my snacks, go refill my drinks. So I'm cool with the ad.
Okay. That's like your time to get up, get you something to eat, get some refreshments.
Yeah, I need that.
I used to do that during the Undertaker's WrestleMania entrances, that you can legitimately cook a meal by the time he gets down to the ring. Now, at least I can go in the kitchen, fire up the microwave, and at least have a meal done in 10 minutes, potentially, with these commercials.
We had Roman's entrance for about 3 years where, that long walk, had plenty of time for that. WrestleMania, man, I had time to go heat it up, let it cool down, get my drink, spread the food out, and then have time to sit down before he got in the ring. So, yeah, we need to bring some of the big entrances back again.
Yes. To just add in that time, I also made that bet. I can go bake cookies during Roman's entrance too, and they'll be done. And just get those things out, cool them off, and eat them. Mwah, fantastico. So Fernanda also knows that Io Sky versus Stephanie Vicaire for the vacant
For sure.
WWE Women's World Championship was the best match of the night. Absolutely agree. And I also agree with Scott that the mixed tag team match to me was also very good. AJ Lee, for being in the ring first time in 10 years, I thought she did very well. We did not expect her to come back as if it was not 10 years ago. She was going to be rusty. She was going to miss some spots. But overall, I thought she did a good job. And Becky and Seth did a great job in that match as well. And CM Punk is the happiest husband in the world. I can't knock him for that either. So I thought in terms of the spots, the creativity, the build up to the hot tag, all of it was very, very good.
Yeah, and there's a reason they put her with Becky. Becky's that deal. She is right now, she is that linchpin in the women's division, elevating the IC title, keeping it in the main event scene, while also being the one that they know they can rely on and put any woman in there with, and she'll be sure to have a good match with her. So, yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed the mixed tag match.
Me too, as well. And John Cena versus Redacted. The less said, the better, because now we know that John Cena will never get his win back against Redacted. So that was a waste of time. But on the plus side, due to what will probably be an episode of WWE Unreal for part 2 of season 1, John Cena said, you know what? I'm going to go into business for myself in storyline, and I am going to pick my opponent for Crown Jewel. I can't be on TV for any of this, but what I'm going to do is pick somebody that the people want, and we're actually going to get the thing, as we'll get to a little bit later. That is a teaser. Yes, it is. As we now get to, before we dive into NXT No Mercy, let's talk about Friday Night SmackDown on USA. There are some things we got to talk about, some things we got to sort through. Number one, SmackDown at 2 hours is still very difficult for me to watch most weeks because Road Dogg is the head writer. And when that's there, that is going to be a barrier for me. But I do want to shout out one man in particular, one guy that has stepped up, who has elevated a championship, who has elevated thyself to make some semblance of SmackDown worth watching. I want to personally thank Sami Zayn for going out there every week and balling out against great opponents for that U.S. Championship Open Challenge. Thank you. Bless you.
Yeah, shout out to Sami. Strong open challenges. And I appreciate the fact that it's, he's been against people who need the showcase, who've been able to really use the showcase. And the crowd reactions have been great for all of them. Sami's also kind of this believable guy where if he does take the fall, it's like, all right, I could see that. And even if he is being elevated after, it doesn't affect him at all. So he's kind of the perfect guy right here for this spot because he can beat anybody believably and he can take an L to anybody believably as well.
Absolutely. Great open challenge matches against Rey Fenix recently, Carmelo Hayes, and then Javon Evans, which was a great match as well when they did the show in Orlando this past Friday night. So a really nice string of matches. Sami Zayn, you know what? Thank you, sir, for going out there and balling out every week because it's not easy to make SmackDown somewhat watchable. And you've done that with your opponents for this United States Championship Open Challenge. Now, the question becomes, who will ultimately beat him for said championship? There is an idea that I have that we'll talk about in a bit as well that could lead to a convincing loss for him if they decide to go in that direction. Because we know at some point, someone is going to take the challenge and someone is going to win, possibly maybe in very dominating fashion.
Yeah, when it's when we get around that Royal Rumble time, don't be surprised if Sami takes that L. But I would expect him to at least keep it another month or so. If he's going to do this, get at least another 4 or 5 defenses under his belt, build it up, and then really get that surprise factor for whenever the big hoss comes in.
Yes, and there will be a big hoss coming. I might have a good idea who that hoss could be, but we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's talk about something distressing that happened on SmackDown as well. So if you read our description for this episode, I would not use the words incredible, unbelievable to describe what we saw when it was Tiffany Stratton defending her WWE Women's Championship against Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. It was quite a train wreck, to be honest with you. One of the worst matches I've seen in WWE this year. Is it worse than John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41? I can't say. The Rap Awards will provide that answer in a couple of months' time. But this match was no good. I'm already like annoyed because Nia Jax had no business in the match because, first of all, you've lost every championship match against Tiffany this year. So why are you even in contention for this match? Jade and Tiffany, their chemistry comes and goes. There's something there if you give them a chance. But the end of this match, from Jade getting cut up, courtesy of Nia, shoving her too hard against the steel steps, to a botched, I'm not going to lift my shoulder up, to break the pin count, to let's strategize and kind of, I don't know, improvise the finish to get to where we need to go, which was Tiffany versus Stephanie, champion versus champion for the Crown Jewel Championship in a couple of weeks. A distressing main event, I must say, that had no one looking good at the end of it, from the wrestlers to the referee to whoever produced this mess.
You know, there's this kind of reminded me of how old McMahon used to run things when he was in charge. And when old McMahon was there, he would tell the referee, you count to three. Regardless of what happens, you count to three. And that is why. That is why. And then this is also why you have two people in the ring, and Tiffany and Jade, who haven't really been in spots where they've messed up and kind of messed up the finish and don't know what to do on the fly. They haven't been in a lot of those spots because it hasn't happened to them yet. Nia, just being Nia. So, I mean, like, it's just one of those things that happen. And that's where I just think that some of those old little things that old McMahon used to have in play, that's where you keep those little things in. Like, she should have just counted the three. I don't put that as much on Nia as I put that on Tiffany, as I put that on the referee. Referee to count the three, and Tiffany to just keep going with it. She kicked out. Stay right there. I'm going to hit you with the moonsault. Right? 1, 2, 3. It's the same. This exact same thing you did anyway. So, yes, Nia, being the veteran, should have took the lead there, but I put that more on the referee, not just going through with the 3 count when that's what you need to do. But if they don't kick out, that's on them. Let's not forget Becky Lynch in NXT. I believe it was Emma that hit her in the corner. They counted the 3. She didn't pick her shoulder up. 1, 2, 3. So that's kind of where I'm at on that whole finish.
Yeah. Redacted had a solid rule in that we count it as a shoot. If somebody's shoulders are down and they're not going to kick out, 1, 2, 3, let's count it. I will never forget an episode of Monday Night Raw. It was Adrian Neville, the Bastard Pack, now in AEW, versus Seth Rollins. He was legitimately very, very, very close to winning the WWE Championship if Seth did not get that shoulder up. Almost was a shoot. So that's how serious this is. So if you see something, just count to 3. I also blame the producer in the referee's ear. Just tell her, make the count. Do not delay it. Let's just go home. It's already a bad match. Let's call it a day. But yeah, it was just a cataclysmic mess of a match, I must say. And no one looked good at the end of it. And now it's going to be Tiffany versus Stephanie for the Crown Jewel Championship at Crown Jewel in a couple of weeks in Perth, Australia.
Who asked for that? I'm just like who asked for that? Tiffany versus Stephanie. Who asked for that? And the thing is, like Like the Stephanie Jade thing, that was cool. So I was like, oh, maybe we'll get Jade and Nia. I saw this on Twitter the other day. Jade and Nia during Tiffany's reign have combined to challenge 8 times for the title. That is ridiculous. 8 times for the title. I don't need to see either of them around Tiffany anymore, which is kind of more reason why I think we maybe should have moved on. But again, who asked for Tiffany versus Stephanie? Who's asking for these matches?
I did not put in that request. I did not pray for this match. I didn't want for this match. Where is Bianca Belair to free us from this reign of Tiffany Stratton? I'm trying to figure out, can I pray over her fingers and like throw holy water on them to heal them faster? Because I'm done with Tiffany's reign. I'm done, because honestly speaking, it's been unremarkable. She's been facing a lot of the same people over and over and over again, and they all lose all the time. And now recently we have people look better than her in matches. Trish Stratus at Evolution, prime example. So it's like she's plateauing a bit as a performer. And I just think that Bianca needs to come back, win this championship, and call it a day so we can all move the hell on, please.
I just, if you're not gonna go with Jade, then I just think you need to stop having her challenge. Like, you're hurting her credibility a little bit. Like you're Dolph Ziggling her. If we're just keeping it a buck, it's having her challenge for title. She's not gonna win. She's going to become the Big Show, the Kane of the division. They're going to challenge and not win. That's just who they're going to be. You don't want that, man. Like, Stephanie versus Jade does something for me. Like that's okay. That's intriguing, because I'm intrigued by that. Stephanie versus Tiffany will probably be a good match. I just didn't ask for it.
No, I didn't ask for it. I wish I could return it to sender, but I can't do that. I'm going to have to watch it in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about it when it goes down. But yeah, I'm like, oh man, the whole Jade booking situation is just very confusing to me, because if you have her as a special attraction, someone that you're trying to push is something special, why do you constantly have her lose? And even though you try to protect her in this match by her not getting pinned, you're not protecting her, because that's another loss for a championship. This is what, the third try at her winning this women's championship, and she's failed. So why should I care about her vying for this championship again? So now you want me to see Nia versus Jade? No, I don't want that either. I don't want that either. So they have to reset Jade. They really do, because they are running the risk of not making her special when she should be special. Every time she comes out there, the mood should feel a little bit different, that she should feel dangerous and a real threat in this division. But how can she be a threat when she's losing? And not because her opponent's cheating, she's losing fair and square. That's the problem for me. It's not like some kind of fluke. She's losing. She lost twice to Tiffany, and now she lost here again. Make it make sense.
Yup. Somebody get Jade right, man.
We're begging and pleading here. We are begging and pleading. So that was Friday Night SmackDown on USA. What a main event it was. Quite memorable for all of the wrong reasons, as we build to Tiffany versus Stephanie. I am just laughing at the disgust Scott had in his voice. Like, he was just horrified. And it's nothing wrong with the match itself. It's the fact that it's happening right now because it's Crown Jewel, and we need a match to determine a champion who will wear their ring for a grand total of a week, and then they carry that belt for a grand total of 10 minutes.
Yeah, as long as Stephanie wins, that's all I'm saying.
Oh, she better win, because if she don't, I will raise all kind of hell on this show. I will have lots of questions. Lots of questions. And I like Tiffany, but this reign is wearing thin on me, I gotta say. But that was SmackDown. Let's get to another show that has been wearing thin on me lately, and that is NXT. NXT has been working my nerves as of late, and it's like irritating to watch every Tuesday. Kind of thankful for the break that we had recently, but we're back, and we got to talk about No Mercy going down live from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. and the show was aight. Like these PLEs of NXT have not been like PLEs of old, of like really good NXT shows that you can say, oh, they stole the weekend. Oh, this is a really great show, top to bottom. Haven't really felt that way since Stand and Deliver earlier this year. So it's been like this slide, honestly, since the Great American Bash, where these PLEs have been all right, nothing special, a good match here and there, but nothing to go out of your way to say, wow, I really got to watch the show in real time, even though I had to because it's in my job description.
Yeah, I agree. And, they tried to make it noteworthy. Didn't really work. Not at least not for me. But yeah, we haven't had that knockout match that we've come to expect. There was a day when Wesley was champion not too long ago where we knew we could count on him to have just a banger of a match. Arguably a match of the weekend if it was a PLE type deal. So they have the performers to do that. It's just they have not been able to do it for some reason, whatever it is, whether it's the time, the story, they have not been able to bring it all together yet. But like you said, the show was solid. They were good, almost great matches, but the show was still solid.
It was all right for what it was. First match was Javon Evans versus Josh Briggs. And
really good.
It was really good. Listen, I have my issue with Josh Briggs as a character, but the man can work. And Javon Evans, we keep saying it, this guy is incredibly special to be 21 years old. And that has been the number 21. Is he too young to be pushed? Is he too young to be champion? The answer is absolutely not. Because if he's a hot hand and he can go at a very high level, and he's popular. For instance, he goes on SmackDown and he gets over with the people against Sami Zayn, had him biting for every near fall, almost won the match, almost became U.S. champ, and they would have loved it. So at some point, you do have to pull the trigger on this guy and crown him. But then again, we got to think about who's booking these shows, because NXT is one thing and the main roster something else entirely. Unless he ends up on Monday Night Raw, which gives me more hope versus him being lost in the road dog vortex of Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah. Road Dogg might think he's like the reincarnation of K Quick. Listen, Evans is definitely him. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And let's just keep it a buck. WWE is definitely in need of creating a youngest champion type deal, since Randy Orton is the youngest world champion they've had in company history, and he had to beat Baltimore to do it, and they're never going to mention him on TV again. So why not go with Evans? Elevate this man, have him win one of your world titles, the NXT title. That way you can go ahead and erase that out. But I guess they didn't want to do that, even though he's been the guy they've been building up for the last 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. That's fine, man. The whole Evans thing just really bothers me, because it just, people are clamoring for it. Like, they want him to be the guy. They would be A-okay with him being the face of the brand. And it just doesn't seem like WWE has any interest in doing that right now.
No. And I think what's frustrating is the fact that I think about my own Javon Evans plan. I had it in my head. I said, let's go to Deadline this year, preferably. Let's do it this year. He wins Deadline. He wins. He's next in line for the NXT Championship. Maybe he tries a New Year's Evil in 2026. And then, he goes to Stand and Deliver and he wins. But then they fast track it. I'm thinking, okay, they're going to go with it right now. Hot hand. Let's do it. They failed to do it. And then they failed to do it again at the last PLE, which was Heatwave against Obafemi, which was a great match as well. And it's like, what are we doing here? Because if not now, when? Because he is incredible. He is fantastic. He's over. The fans want him to win the big one. They want to root for him. He can be a tremendous difference maker for NXT. And we know if he gets over on the main roster, you should crown him too. There should be no fear in giving him everything he so desires and deserves, because he's great. but you keep with the pushes and the pulls and do we do this because he's too young, or do we do that because he's not old enough? Like I don't understand the reasoning, because at some point, similar to Jay Cargill, you're running the risk of watering down his reactions, his aura, and everything that makes him special, because you don't think he's ready. When is he going to be ready? When he's 45? No, he's ready right now. Just take the risk, do it, and call it a day. Because we look at sports all the time and you don't see like, oh my God, we can't get this person over because they're too young. It doesn't work that way. Sports is sports, and ascensions happen when you're 18, 19, 20 years old. So let him cook at 21, 22. And as Scott said, there's a record to be broken with Randy, who was 23 at the time he beat Voldemort for the championship 20 plus years ago. Let Javon have that at some point, whether on NXT or on the main roster. Do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I need that man on the main roster doing that. You know, he can't be beating Cody Luther King. But you know what I'm saying? Let's not go too far. But I'm with all that. He's definitely the guy. They got 2 years. So, you know, I got 2 years to play with when it comes to that NXT title. And the deadline thing could still happen. I just would have preferred it to be against Oba. Ricky's fine. Oba's better.
Yeah. Oh, I have feelings on that. We'll talk about that in just a moment, I promise you. But let's get to the most pointless match of the night. So Sol Ruka, who I love, by the way, is a double champion. She is the NXT North American Women's Champion, and she is a speed champion. And to showcase Sol Ruka's talents, let's give her merely 5 minutes on an NXT PLE to cook. And it's against Miss Jada Parker. Matches that had like a little mess up with the Tilt-A-Whirl that did not Tilt-A-Whirl the way it should have. And that was a mess. And then we had Lash come out there, cause a distraction. Zarya speared her, and that allowed Sol to hit the Soul Snatcher on Jada to retain the Speed Championship. Sol Ruka has been the NXT Women's North America Champion for well over 100 days. And I can count on one hand how many times she's defended that championship since that time. And she is another one that is can't miss, is going to be revolutionary on the main roster when the time comes. But the booking, why are we not showcasing the main championship she has versus the secondary title that we only see sparingly on TV? That I don't want to see her wrestle for 3 minutes or 5 minutes. I want to see her go out there and cook 10, 15 minutes for the belt that actually matters on this show.
So I'm kind of a different mind when it comes to that speed title, especially on NXT when we know what NXT is. I mean, it should be more, but it is their breeding ground. It's where they have their people to get ready for the main roster. I mean, that title should be the balls to the wall title. Like, they should just be going 100 miles per hour during that title match. Like, and instead it just feels like a normal match. And I think that's where the problem is when you have a title called the speed title and it's supposed to be just nonstop action. If there was a sense of urgency, if there was just constant pinfalls, big moves after big moves, you would feel the difference, but it doesn't feel different. It just feels like the same match, except they have a smaller time limit. So I agree with the frustration, but I think the concept and the idea is perfect for NXT. And honestly, it's perfect for Sol Ruka, who is at this point more of I can hit these big spots. Not saying she can't carry a good match, but this is where she can really showcase those type of big spots in a match like this. And that should be what this match and what this division can be. And it could be something completely separate from the North American division, which she's also representing. And that could be a whole story that you're telling where she has to wrestle these two different styles, where she has to be fast-paced here, always watching her back, watching out for quick pinfalls, going for quick pinfalls in this type of match, where in this type of match, she can slow it down a little bit. She can go after body parts, or she has to worry about somebody doing that. Like, there's a great story that can be told with these two divisions and how they're so different in the way that she has to prepare for them. I think the concept is great. They've just done an absolutely terrible job of establishing it and then letting it be its own thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And I just have a question. So even though Speed was canceled on X, that's what happened. Let's be for real. It wasn't renewed. Let's keep it a buck. That's how we have these championships
how you
with
get,
NXT.
How you get canceled on X? How you get canceled on X?
Listen,
how you not get renewed on X?
Well, something happened, Scott, during negotiations, okay? And they said, listen, the views are not the actual views, that people are not stopping in our timeline to watch Speed, so we're not going to pay for Speed anymore. But despite it not being renewed on X, which is crazy for me to say again, let's think about this. I have to presume the Speed producers still work for WWE. So how come they're not producing these matches better?
100%. 100%. Like, no, that's what it comes down to. And it should just not feel like a regular match. The best example I can think of is when during the COVID era, one of the things that, at least for me, that drew me into Ring of Honor at the time were the pure championships and the pure matches, because they all felt different. They had the rules, they had all this other different stuff going on. Where you couldn't do certain things, you couldn't punch somebody in the face because you would get disqualified. Like, it felt different. Everything about it was different. That's what this needs to be. And you can do something and have it feel special. You can tell special type of stories and stuff like that. So again, the Sol Ruka is her being double champion. That should be a story. Zarya maybe showing a little bit of jealousy at that should be a story. But at the end of the day, the Speed title should just be a balls to the wall showcase for whatever two women are in there.
And I am back. What had happened was,
here we go.
My screen was frozen for the last 15 minutes, and all I heard was audio. And I thought it was going to just kick back in at some point. So I said, enough of this. I need to see Scott's face. So I had to leave and come back. I was basically doing the show blind with zero reactions from you. And my biggest regret was not seeing the audible, oh God, Tiffany and Stephanie. I did not see that. That saddened me.
That's what I was going to ask you, if that was the face that got frozen on. If it was just my finger, I feel like, oh, because I kind of like, I was wondering if that was the face that got stuck on, because I was going to apologize. I was like, I'm so sorry that you had to be stuck like that for 15 minutes.
I just saw like a frozen Scott face for 15 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I need to see you. So I had to leave and come back immediately. Good to be back. You spoke all facts on the Speed Championship, which reminds me, that damn Heritage Cup, is it still a thing, or did they retire it?
I thought it got thrown off a bridge or something. Or was that a person? I can't remember the last thing that got thrown off a bridge, if it was a person or if it was the cup.
Okay, so if I have my memory with me, Stax technically is the Heritage Cup champion, but where the hell is Stax? He's out here flirting with his fiance. Where's Stax?
That man at home getting his stacks, getting paid. That man said, I don't need to wrestle. I'm good. I don't want to be on the team. I don't want to do none of that. I don't want to do none of that. Nope. I'll stay right at home. Y'all invade without me.
Y'all invade without me. Okay. This is PTO for me. Won't be here for that. Alrighty. So that was the Speed Championship match between Sol Ruka and Miss Jada Parker. Then our next match was a weaponized steel cage match involving Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace. Now, When Jordan wore all white for this match, I thought for sure we're going to get some blood. It's going to be a little gnarly. We didn't get nothing. No blood, nothing. We got cut extensions in the ring. We got like bootleg diamonds being poured in the ring and nobody getting really cut up. It was a perfectly fine match that was a watered down version of what Blake did in AEW. And that's all right, but I just want a bit more. I think that NXT gets a little bit too gimmicky with their weaponized steel cage matches. They want to color the trash can pink, and they want to get pink chairs, and they want to get pink kendo sticks. Can't we just do violence for violence sake? That's all I want. I don't want too much. And if you're going to cut somebody's hair, girl, get a razor. Get a full-on razor and shave it bald. Let's take some risks here.
So the match was good. You had Blake see her own blood, go through this whole metamorphosis where she talks about how you changed her and do all this, and we're building her up. Like, she should be a key factor. And she takes the L here. This choices. Another choice, because Vic made it very clear that Blake needed to be in the ring and you had to win by pinfall or submission or whatever. Why did she even go to the top of the cage? I'm just like, these are the things that don't make sense to me. Why did you go up there? And then when you were up there, what was the plan? What was the idea? What was the thought process? Because once Jordan had you, you were done. Another thing, you had scissors. Like, why did you just keep cutting all of her hair? Like you said,
yes.
You didn't shave her, but you gave her a pretty good cut, pretty even. Kept making sure both sides had the same amount. Like, what are we doing now? We in glamour school too. We just got it. And then it's not to mention she looked like she was trying out to be the new 3D. Okay, she looked like she wanted to be in 3D. So I don't know what we're doing. I don't know why Jordan needed to win this. Jordan could take 2 losses to Blake. It would have done nothing. It's not like you've been building Jordan up as this monster anyway. None of this made sense. But it was fine for what it was. It was a good match.
It was a match about nothing, like a Seinfeld episode. It was a match about absolutely nothing. Scott made valid points. How do you cut someone's hair and leave it layered? How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you actually add to the style by reducing said volume? She is like...
How you make her look better after the match?
It's like she goes to the hair salon. I just went like a little off the top here, a little off the top there. Like, she gave her a makeover that wasn't bad at all. And she looked better because it was too much weave to begin with. And then it's like, let's go up top. Let me throw powder in your eyes, blinding you. But I still get put through a table because you can't see. And then I lose. Help me understand the booking logic of this match. There is no logic. Scott said, why are you climbing the cage when you can't escape? Where are you going to go? What is the referee going to do? Is he going to disqualify you in a match you cannot get disqualified from?
Listen, I gave up trying to figure out what was going on in this match as I was, because none of it made sense. And then you had the whole diamond. Then you had the whole rhinestone. Then you had the whole quarter machine items. Okay. Because even if they were rhinestones, even if they were the little beads that come off those little Macy's dresses that, that just fall off sometimes when you fold them up. Even if they were just those little diamonds, you would have got something, a red scratch or something. Man, they got slammed on those and not a daggone thing happened. You should have just put Legos out there for Christ's sake. I mean, yes. Seriously, like, as someone with kids who have Legos all over the house, you fall on those things, I'm going to tell you, that's going to hurt.
Yes, sir.
That's going to cut you up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. them little quarter diamonds that she had out there, they ain't gonna do it. But them Legos, you can play with them Legos if you want to, okay? But it just doesn't make sense. Like the 50-50 booking is it does nobody favors. Building to these third matches does nobody favors.
It doesn't at all. And like, let's talk about it again. Jordan wore all white. For what? If you're not going to bleed, what's the purpose? I expect blood. When Scott mentions Legos, I go back to SmackDown, Road Dogg era, back on Fox, way back when. There was a Christmas match, a Christmas theme match on SmackDown, and it involved Heavy Machinery and who we now know as FTR. When Dax and Cash took the bumps on the Legos, it cut them up. Their backs were bleeding. There was Lego stuck to the skin because that shit hurts. So listen, those bootleg cubic zirconians that were out there that couldn't cut shit, I was like, what are we doing? What is this? What in the bootleg rhinestones is this on the mat? Can we let our women in WWE be a little bit violent and gnarly? Because AEW, they're going to do blood and guts for the women. They're going to bleed like buckets in a couple of weeks. So you're telling me that you can't even, at least on a rare occasion, in a weaponized steel cage match, at least give me a little color, if you will, in all white?
Yeah. Well, like I said, the match was good, though.
I tell you, will love this match. May you rest Bob Barker, because it was neutered. That's why this match was neutered. Spayed and neutered, this match was.
Okay. Oh, snap. Bob Barker, shout out to him, man.
Yeah, shout out. The price is wrong. I can't, it's tempting to say the last part, but this was all wrong. All right, fine match, but stupid. But let's get to our next match, which was an NXT Tuesday night special involving Tavion Heights and All Ego Ethan Page for the NXT North American Championship. Respectable Ethan Page won the end. That's all I got.
Not a lot to add to it. Ethan Page is a great champion. And yeah, this was absolutely a Tuesday night special on Saturday.
Yes. Let's move on quickly because I have nothing of note left to add. Our next match, our semi-main event, was JC Jane versus Lola Vice for the NXT Women's Championship. So Scott looked at me kind of funny a few weeks ago when I said, you know what, give it to Lola. He says, nah, ain't gonna happen. And the fact they showcased her entire family. We went down to Miami. We went down to Little Havana. We saw her family. We saw her dad, who's fantastic. And then you think to yourself, well, they can't possibly job out the hometown hero. Walker HBK says we're telling stories here. And in our story, the hometown hero loses to a maxed hooded figure who knee checks her, and JC hits a rolling encore for the victory as Lola is at ringside crying legit tears because I got beat in my hometown, because you can never get the moment back. Lola is someone else who's had multiple chances at this championship and has lost. So why should I care if she gets another chance? I shouldn't, because you don't give me a reason to, NXT.
Yeah, I even though I didn't think it was going to happen, this was probably the one I would have pulled the trigger on. I think it would have been a nice change of pace. I think Lola would have been a nice fresh face. But here we are, still living in the JC Jane era. But match was fine. Not really a lot to add here either. It was this was also another Tuesday night special.
It was a Tuesday night special, and I think to myself, who's going to be JC for this championship? Because if it's not going to be Lola, who's it going to be? The other option would have to be, I don't know, if you turn Fallon Henley. Is that the end game here? And I'm not opposed to that. But like, it can't be Jordan Grace because she's had shots at this championship multiple times. Blake Monroe is a heel. Can't be her. So who's it going to be?
Yeah, Fallon would work, but I think she's I think she's great as a heel.
Yeah.
And I think if you were going to give her the title, you should have just left her as the number one in the group. I don't know, man. Even though she loses more title matches than Nia Jax, I still think Jada Parker is probably that long-term end game. Like, she's the one you can. She is just like Evans of the women's division. You can tell there is a bubbling from the crowd where they are just waiting on her to get that one win that you could tell that the people are really behind her. I think I think it's got to be her. Fallon's probably the most logical, but I think if you're going by what the crowd's telling you, I think Jada's got to be the pick.
Yeah, crowds are one thing. I've been on the internet. Jesus Christ. Something has turned the worm in the last year or so, and it's a lot of like anti Jada Parker in terms of getting anything. It's like it's rough in these streets for her. And it wasn't the case last year, but it's rough out here. So she's very fortunate that she's in a bubble, that the crowds that are in Florida still like her very much. Expanding beyond that bubble is going to be very interesting, but I do see the discourse. It is rough. It is very, very rough.
Well, all right, Jada. I'm still your advocate, though. I'm still rooting for you. Just no more speed titles.
Yeah, I was like, Scott, you might want to relook at your client list, reassess.
My two people have been Von Wagner and Jada Parker. Von's not here anymore, and Jada's just losing title matches left and right. I got to get a new client.
Yeah, the stock, the public stock on the internet has deeply depreciated over the last year or so. So I was like, the Scott might want to reassess his client list and see who needs to be plucked out of obscurity to I don't know, try to elevate them that doesn't have as much heat. So we'll see. Maybe the challenge for next year, can Scott find and scout the next person up from NXT successfully?
Yeah, I'm glad you added that last key word, because that is the key word, successfully, and have them actually have a successful year. Yes.
We might have to do this annually, Scott. You might have to pick a new
I'm cool with that
client to represent, because this one is rough. Man, the streets are rough. Let me tell you. Been reading the commentary like, I'm catching strays and it ain't me. Whew. Okay. Now let's get to our main event, which was Ricky Sainz versus Obafemi for the NXT Championship. The way that I did not think a title change was going to happen. I was laying down. I was like, you know what? I'm going to chill. I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm just going to relax because I know how this is going to go. Oba's going to beat him. It's going to be a really nice match. It is what it is. When I tell you, I sat up when this dude, Ricky Sainz, hits 1 tornado DDT, 2 tornado DDTs, 3, and then a 4th, and then he wins, and I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. I was shocked. I wondered partially why. And I really like Ricky Sainz, but I have felt for the longest time he's out of place on NXT. And I love Obafemi. I truly do. I thought it should have been Javon Evans who should have beaten him for this championship. So the booking of everything felt very to me in that moment, but it feels like Oba is getting called up to the main roster. And I made this joke a few weeks ago. Triple H has to see him. Road Dogg, if he's going to be on SmackDown, has to book him. So if he is going to be possibly maybe the guy to beat Sami Zayn for the U.S. Championship Challenge, go for it. If he's going to be the guy to be a major player in the Royal Rumble, go for it. If you want him to be the guy to retire John Cena potentially, go for it. Do whatever you want to do. But it better be right, because I'm tired of this.
If I'm doing Oba, me personally, I'm not having him answer the challenge. I'm having him go the Keith Lee route. I'm gonna have him and eliminate Brock Lesnar from the Royal Rumble. I think that is what you do with Oba. You want to put Oba on the map as soon as he comes up. Yeah, the U.S. title will be cool, but I don't have faith that they'll book his reign the way he should be on the main roster. But when you put him with Brock, Brock's gonna take care of somebody like that. Brock made Omos look like $1 million. Brock is gonna make sure that Oba will look great. And if he were to beat Brock at eliminate him from the Royal Rumble, Brock becomes a pain in his tail the rest of the time. He gets a big win over him at WrestleMania. You're set. He's set after that. There's not much more you can add. The rub that Keith Lee got, the excitement people had for Keith Lee after the interaction he had with Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble, that short interaction, and he didn't even eliminate him. I think that says what Oba being in the ring with Brock in the Rumble, eliminating him, getting that big moment, and having a dominant run. I think that would do wonders for him. Time away, let people kind of forget about him a little bit, and then do the same thing.
Oh, the memories of the 2020 Royal Rumble. So it was Keith Lee, who did not eliminate Brock, but we had that great moment. But then you got to think about the series of events. You had Keith Lee, then you had Ricochet, then you had Drew McIntyre. And in that order, that's how we got Brock out of there, with Drew claymoring Brock and the stare down that was so epic, and basically got Drew over to the next level. Like, it made him after that. So I would love to see something similar for Obafemi, who I think has every opportunity and chance and ability to be a future world champion in WWE in short order. He is one of the best finds they've ever had, that he's caught on quickly, and he's not overly green. Like, he goes out there as if he's a seasoned veteran, and you don't realize he hasn't done this more than 2 years. It's quite frightening. And we talk about Braun Breaker, and rightfully so. Obafemi, seriously, for what he has accomplished in short order, it's levels to this. And I think he has really eclipsed what can be on the main roster if they push him.
Yeah. Like, he's the type of guy who, if you don't do him right when he does get called up to the main roster, that's a guy Tony Khan scoops up and probably puts the Rocket to. Like, probably the way he got Wardlow over to that type of level, that's probably what he does with Oba, and rightfully so. Whether Triple H can see him or not, okay, he will absolutely feel that energy, that aura when he walks into the room. He won't have a choice. So I think he'll be okay when he comes onto the main roster. Long as that initial debut, long as he don't have no skirt, and long as they don't make him no Bearcat, he should be fine.
Oh my God, Keith Lee, man. I'm traumatized. I am traumatized.
I mean, where do you start? Where do you start? With him being the Bearcat, him rocking the double singlet, the tennis skirt. Where do we draw the line for what they did wrong with Keith Lee? Man, the shaving of the beard, they try to make him look like he's 21 again. Where did we go wrong?
Let's start with the audacity to redo his theme music. The audacity.
One of the best themes I was out there already, as it was.
Yes, let's fuck that up. Then let's give you a name to fuck you up even more. Put you in a tennis skirt to really fuck you up. And now we're done. They really did a number on Keith Lee. They really, really did. And it bothers me. It bothers me to this day, because they had money in their hands and they blew it.
And they still had the nerve to have that man beat Randy Orton in a skirt. I know Randy was pissed. Y'all got me losing to somebody in a skirt. Why did Vince want to get somebody over in a skirt? Cross, he had to lose to Jeff in the skirt. We had Keith Lee debuting in a skirt. This man just had to get some man over in a skirt. What's going on with that?
Well, that was an experience for sure. It was. Truly, it was. Fernando asks a very good question and makes a point as well. Obafemi is going to be a bigger star than Braun Breaker. Do we agree with that assessment?
I do not. I think Braun is going to be, and the only reason I say Oba won't be is because I don't think Oba will get as many opportunities as Braun will. Like I think Braun will get multiple and many opportunities to be at the top, and rightfully so. But I don't know if Oba's going to get that many. I think Oba will be a world champion, but I think it'll always be like a Brock, Bobby Lashley type thing where there will just be a level to it.
I feel a bit more bullish on Oba. Braun, the pathway was easier before there was Obafemi. Now there's an Oba here, like, but the money also will be in them main eventing a WrestleMania someday, because those are the two alphas that you
against
have
each
built
other,
up.
right?
Like, yeah, absolutely. So there's money right there to be made. So I'm all for that. But for the longest time, I thought, like, Braun, you're the only one. No, Obafemi came along and said, hey, I'm here too. And he's come out of nowhere, and he's been amazing for the last 2 years. Just incredible in terms of what he's been able to do. Ricky Saints as NXT champion, your thoughts on that? Was that the right call to make, or are you just, being a good old transitional champion heading into the end of the year?
We'll see. I think we'll get better back and forth as far as like the verbal stuff. Even though Oba was starting to really come into his own with the verbal, he was starting to get them shots in. But Ricky's a more believable champion that can take a L. If he loses somebody, it won't be as shocking as Oba was. I think it'll be fine, but we won't have as dominant a champion as Oba in a long time.
Agreed, for sure. So we'll see where we go from here. We'll touch on NXT a little bit more before we go. But let's quickly transition to Monday Night Raw. It was a solid show on Netflix, airing at an earlier start time. And our favorite storyline is taking a turn. So last week, we had Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Great main event, by the way. Chemistry on point. They've come so far, and it really shows how much Rhea has grown as a complete performer to deliver that performance against Asuka, who's one of the greatest to ever do it in WWE. So Rhea wins. And then after the match is over, we get the turn of the Kabuki Warriors to EO. And it was a great turn. And then poor Rhea missed it. She like a blue Smurfette when the night was done. So we segue to Monday Night Raw, and Rhea is pissed off, and she wants the Kabuki Warriors to come out there right now, ready for a fight. Let's go at it. And Io comes out, and she is so sad because, listen, she says, even though Asuka and Kyrie did me dirty, that's still my family. I still love them, and I have to sort through this. I have to work this stuff out on my own. Leave me be. And so Asuka and Kyrie appear on the big screen. Asuka is one of my favorite heels in all of wrestling, because she basically said, I took y'all under my wing. I am your mentor. You are my proteges. I brought you up. So you're supposed to bow down, respect me, appreciate me. No outsiders allowed. No Rhea allowed. So if you apologize, EO, we're good. We're family again. But if you don't, we got problems. And so EO is contemplating this decision. As she leaves the ring, Rhea is jumped by Asuka and Kyrie. Io is struggling to decide what she wants to do. Should she help Rhea? Should she stand back? She eventually helps her friend. And then in doing so, Asuka missed her as well. And they beat down Rhea and Io. Great heat segment. Great stuff backstage as well, with Kyrie trying to convince Io, please just apologize to Asuka. We're a family. Gave her a picture to hold on to. But Io says, nope. Rhea was right. This ain't my family anymore. Kyrie's lost. So let's team up. Crown Jewel, you and me versus Asuka and Kairi Sane. Let's go out there and put in that work. And Rhea rightfully says, can I trust you? Because this is your family here. Can I rely on you not to fold? And she says, yeah, you got it. You got it. So I love everything about this. Is great storytelling. We got great performances. There's levels and layers to this, which I appreciate. And it's going to be an incredible match in Perth, Australia. Dare I say, outside of Cody and Seth and possibly Cena and AJ, how much they pull out of each other, this looks way better than fucking WrestlePalooza, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And, I think this is a couple things. First of all, they've done a great job of establishing this feud, and there's no title involved. So that's a plus. Another thing, let's pray that as long as this feud goes on and in the near future, that there's no titles ever involved, because we know 3 out of those 4, if one of those titles gets on one of those 3, they're gone. They're up out of here. Now the worry, because it feels like the world title is now taking a back seat. This feels like the most important story in the women's division, and it is. The world title doesn't even feel like it's relevant now, and that's just unfortunate. But at least we're getting, like, we've got 4 top tier women in a great story that doesn't involve the title. We're gonna get a title match with Stephanie. We're in good hands. So I mean that's a solid starting block right there. We'll get Becky involved with something. We've got Bayley involved with something. So I appreciate the fact that we've got multiple stories going on here that don't involve the world title.
And we asked for that for the longest time.
Yeah.
Can you just give us stories that don't involve the championship? But as you said, there is a caveat to that, because sometimes you forget we have a world champion that we have to book accordingly and give her challengers as well. So hopefully they won't forget that heading into the end of this year. But I do sense it's going to be some time before Stephanie truly gets an opponent that is going to vie for that championship. We got War Games coming up. We got the end of the year, the Royal Rumble. It's not going to be a lot of contenders vying for that championship anytime soon. And that might put her reign on ice, which is very sad to see. But hopefully they built up challengers, because as you said, they are building up people in this division to vie for something at some point, which is a very good thing. You got Rhea, Io, Asuka, Kyrie, Bayley. We have Lyra in the mix too. Becky as IC champion. AJ Lee is floating around as well. So there are possibilities. They just got to lean into it. That's all they have to do, and book accordingly and balance things out.
And honestly, like the Raw women's division is in so much better shape than that women's division on the SmackDown side. At least people set up in better positions, and they've got 2 of the biggest names in the women's division out, with Liv and Naomi. Naomi was as hot as anybody was in that company right then, and Liv is going to be as popular as anybody is when she comes back, which will be a lot sooner than Naomi will be. So, like, that's without all that. So I think they're still in a good spot. So I'm actually very satisfied, not very, but I'm satisfied with where we are with that women's division right now on the Raw side.
Yeah, I am as well. It looks healthy, looks good. I cannot say the same for SmackDown at all, because, like I said, like we need Naomi back if she can teleport and have the baby quickly. But then I'm thinking about Bianca. She can come back sooner and help save us. We need her to save us. I beg, Bianca, I will pray for your fingers, as I said before. Save us. Please, God, save us.
She gave us a 5-star banger, had to sacrifice her fingers.
Oh, God.
At WrestleMania Classic, had to give up a finger to get it, but that's all right.
Man, Jesus, man. I mean, the sacrifice she made. The sacrifice she made. Fernando's still with us. The Io Sky and Asuka story is becoming bloodline cinema good. I have to say, you're not wrong. It is really good stuff, and the acting is really good. Asuka, as Scott said before, you know what? She a gangster. She's from around the way. Don't care. She's a thug. We love that. We love that.
She got an automatic invite to any cookout without being invited.
Exactly.
Without being invited.
Listen, she would lift a plate and without asking, and I will let her do it. You know what? Go ahead, Asuka. Raid. Do what you do. And then Fernando also says we need a draft to reduce the women's division or to kind of boost up the women's division on SmackDown. We need something. Now, I will say the draft. Nah, man. We thought that we had the solution last year when they did the draft last year, and we got the same goddamn format. So we can't draft anymore. What we need to do is institute free agency. We talked about this before. That's the best way to work around this, because a draft, even with a professional that's been on ESPN, he can't book a draft for wrestling. We got to scrap that. Let's do free agency. Let's call it a day.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's whatever we do. Okay, we definitely need to do some trading, some flip flopping. Yeah, let's get Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. Why can't we just get segments of them just going back and forth? Like, what do you think about this person? Let's trade this person. How hard is that?
Exactly. 2 GMs doing negotiating, trading people going through the portal, people who's up in free agency and worked contract situations in a shoot kind of way. Come on now.
He's got 1 year left. He's a bigger name, but he's only got 1 year left. So I'll trade you him for this younger guy who's got 3 years left. Yeah. Oh, man, I love that. Whatever, man. All right, what we got next?
With a 2-year option. God,
come on. Come on.
Come on, man. Oh, Jesus. So that's our idea to make this better, because a draft, no, it ain't what it used to be, and it will never be, to be honest with you. But another highlight for Monday Night Raw was Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. I really enjoy what they're doing heading into Crown Jewel. Now, we said, oh, God, Tiffany and Stephanie, because the match is kind of out of nowhere. This one has been building up for a while, dating back to WrestleMania, because Cody wanted to know, Seth, are you good? Is this who you really are now? And then there are layers to this story, too, because Seth is having this eternal struggle about, what does Cody mean to me? He was my enemy. Then he became my ally. Cody thought we were friends. I did at that. I just said I was doing you a favor because it was convenient. You were the lesser of two evils. But now I want to be the top guy. Now I want to be the quarterback, and I want you to ride behind me. So I like the struggle that Seth is having regarding whether or not he is who he says he is. And I did love the fact that Cody says, listen, dude, we're not fighting for the future of the industry. Let's stop using the hyperbole, dude. We're just going to find who's the better guy here. Get this belt, get this check, get this ring. Let's get on out of here. So I like Cody cutting through the noise of like, it's going to change everything for the next 10 years. I'm like, dudes, in the next 10 years, you're going to be 50. So how are you going to be the future at 50? Like, let's be real. So I'm glad Cody cut through that noise. But I will say this. Cody punched some holes through the vision. Who's really running things? Is it Seth? Is it Paul Heyman? When it comes to Redacted, when it comes to the Bronze showing up on SmackDown, who's really calling the shots? Is it Seth Rollins? Is it Paul Heyman? Because when Roman was the tribal chief alongside his wise man, Roman called all the shots. And Paul just said, yes, my tribal chief. So it seems like Paul is manipulating things in his favor and using Seth as his own shield.
Man, so the video packages were well done. Those are all very well done. As always, they do a good job with those. It's going to be hard for Seth to really come back from the 03 line. That's always just going to haunt him as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they have done a good job with the story and whatnot. So I agree with that. But for me, I see a lot of people talking about Seth needs to win the match, and because he's not perceived as on the same level as Cody, and I agree with that, and he's not. So, and I'm of the belief where you don't need that. Like, I think back to when they used to have these type of matches. I remember when they had it was a triple threat match. It was King Booker, John Cena, and I don't know who was the ECW. I don't know if it was the Big Show at the time, but it was a triple threat match, and they wanted to make sure that the other champions were on par. So they had King Booker beat John Cena after he hit him in the back of the head with the title and all this stuff. Like, to me, that doesn't make the other champion feel on par when they do all that to get the win. Like, that win doesn't mean anything. Like, let Cody have the win. Like, when Cody beat Gunther, to me, that did nothing. Like, that didn't hurt Gunther at all. The match wasn't for the title. It was fine. It did nothing. We already knew they were levels to this, so it's not like it took him a step back. It didn't hurt him. And if he would have beat Cody, I don't feel like it would have done a lot anyway. So for me, if Seth were to beat Cody, it doesn't do a lot. What he does after the match, now that's what's important, because he can take this loss. And then if he comes after the match and he just leaves Cody, laid out, has his title, takes the ring, takes the other title and holds it over, nobody's going to remember that he lost the match. They're just going to remember that he won that. Like, and wins and losses should matter, but in this situation like this, where you're trying to make someone feel on the same level, it's not going to do it with one match.
No, it's not. And I also have to point this out as well. When someone tells me we were never friends, and you got the audacity to wear the Rolex I gave you, I'm snatching my Rolex off. I'm taking my stuff back. You out here looking at my watch, talking about we ain't friends. Give me my shit back then if we ain't friends.
Yeah, that's Seth mad disrespectful for that. To be flexing that man, watching his face like that. And you know what? You're right, Keila. I'm a little disappointed in Cody. Especially, you know what? I bet you Brandy gave him an earful for the A. I knew you didn't let that man put that watch in your face like that, and you ain't do nothing. I know you did not do that. And then had the nerve to walk back here up in my face. Because I wouldn't pick that out.
Okay. I get the box, I put it in, and I would say, here, take it off your wrist, put it back in this box. No. This dude said we ain't friends, had the temerity to wear the watch out there and then take it with him. He left with the watch on his wrist. The audacity, which means Seth is full of shit. You love Cody. That's the truth, dude. You're in denial.
Cody, Seth, and Roman about to form the new Shield.
They all secretly love each other. They all do.
That's gonna be the triple threat this year. Cody, Seth, and Roman.
Hey, listen, that bottle will cook, honestly.
Oh, it would. Oh, no doubt. I still think we're getting Cody Roman 3. Like, I still think that's the end game that's coming. But I'd be very happy to be wrong and get like Seth Roman and Cody CM Punk. I'd be very happy if we got those two instead.
Yeah, I love that as well. So you really can't go wrong with either direction. It works for me perfectly. And there's so many stories that are left to be told, that there's so many unfinished pieces to this puzzle, which I appreciate. They can always go back to, and they can main event a WrestleMania over the next couple of years leading up to that WrestleMania over there in 2027, which is going to be egregiously over the top with a lot of people. And I already hear rumblings that John Cena's last match will actually be in Saudi Arabia, because how much money are they going to throw at him to come out of retirement? Seriously.
Yeah, he'll get 8 figures for that.
Easily. Like, you know what? My last actual match, my last real match is going to be at WrestleMania in 2027. And then, Fernando, you have such high hopes that you hope that Dwayne doesn't get involved. You are basically saying that future Oscar nominee Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson isn't going to get involved.
Dwayne is going to come out on Saturday night's main event at the very end and be like, you remember when we had our first match and we had to wait a year? I'll see you in a year, buddy. And they're going to have the match at the following WrestleMania.
Yes. Like, listen, hey, you thought I was preparing you for a year out with me and Cena? 2 years out with me and Roman. 2 years out. Let me get my Disney commitments out of the way.
Right.
I'm going to have my Oscar on my shelf by then, too. I'm going to be like out here. Oscar winner, Dwayne The Rock Johnson out here balling out.
There's just going to be Oscar Dwayne Johnson. Just in case he doesn't win. Just Oscar Dwayne Johnson.
Yes, just to say he was nominated. They would never take it from him.
That's it.
Alrighty. Speaking of Roman Reigns, so he returned on Monday Night Raw to save the Usos from the Braun Brawns. It was a fun tornado tag team match that the Braun Brawns had in hand until Roman came out there, even the odds, whooped up on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker with steel chairs, and that allowed Jimmy and Jay to splash Braun for the victory. Now, what's notable is after the match was over, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso had a meeting of the minds saying, yes, this is what we do. This is how we handle business. Glad I could help. Jay's so happy to have his tribal chief back. And Jim is like, here we go again. Here we go again. Like it's 2021 all over again. And I'm just watching this as a bystander, watching my brother get roped in with the tribal chief. And he thinks he's on 1-2, thinking he's going to be Roman Reigns light. He sees it for what it is. The question becomes, will Roman see it? Because he was trying to, I don't know, take the higher road, not be so domineering. But when you see your reflection in your cousin, you will think differently for sure.
I'm here for it, and I think we're heading towards Jay becoming the new tribal chief. Like I think we could have a whole new dynamic. And you know, we've talked about Sami Zayn possibly winning the Royal Rumble. What if he does win the Rumble and one of the champions happens to be Jey Uso? Like there's a lot of story that you could tell here, and I think they've done a good job with it. Jimmy's gonna need some time off here soon to go be a great dad. So yeah, he's gonna have plenty of things that can have him make that final shift to be the tribal chief. Roman's and Roman storyline wise could always say, I tried to do it the other way. I tried to do it a certain way. And look what it's gotten me. No titles. I've been laid out more times than I enjoy. Nah, let's go back to smashing them and getting them out the way. And I don't necessarily, it doesn't have to mean they have to be, you know, the bad guys, but they could just go back to not caring about what anybody else says. And I think we could be nearing the end of the Yeet train.
Yeah, and I said that as well. I think it's time for Jay to be independent of the Yeet chant, not be so reliant on catchphrases, because he's very good as a promo when given the opportunity to really deliver great character work. So lean into that, lean into your strengths. Don't be so reliant on catchphrases, because that will actually kind of water you down if you get too comfortable and lazy with that approach. And then Roman, we'll see for sure. I like the story very much. Jimmy, as always, just delivers with his facial expressions. As you said, paternity leave is coming. It will be in a few months. Got to be home. You know, Naomi's in Paris right now for Fashion Week. And I still laugh at the fact that even though that man's halfway across the globe, she says, come get it, Big Jim. So, yeah.
Listen, man, the man's job is done. Okay, let that man rest. Okay, the job is done. Let him rest.
She says, no, he's not going to rest. No. Why would I tell him to rest? No doubt. So, Big Jim, you've been handling great work this year in all areas of your life. Yes, you have. Shout out to Big Jim.
Shout out to Big Jim.
Yes. Who once got over because he was like Big Jim. Like, now you know why he's called Big Jim. Now you know.
Nah, I got nothing but love and respect for Big Jim right now. He is listen. that whole family done upgraded to me. Naomi done went from the book bag. She is now the champ. You know what I'm saying? The champ. And he is Big Jim. So that they all upgraded to me.
Yes. The fact that this has happened this year tells me the end of the world is near. The rapture's coming for Scott, even though it missed us again last week. So the fact that I've converted him, I'm amazed.
I forgot. The rapture was supposed to come last week. I'm all for that. But like, come on, guys. Like, what are we doing? You're not predicting the date. Let's just throw that out there now.
No. Like our grannies and great grannies continue to say we are in our last days, the longest last days, but we are in our last days.
My parents were told they were in their last days before I was even in the stars.
Exactly. They've been saying that for years. We're in our last days. Yes. For 1,000 years, it's been our last days. Fernando, proceed with caution, Jimmy. He won't, Fernando. As you can clearly see, that did not work out well with him proceeding with caution. There was no caution. He just sped right through. And good for him, by the way. Congratulations, dude. So we miss Naomi. God, she's missed on SmackDown, especially right now, because Lord, that is a struggle bus to get through in that women's division. But she'll be back sometime in 2027 if we had to predict. Alrighty, so let's quickly get to NXT on the CW, the Melanated Network, as we get ready for not the other thing that show was going to be called next week. It's going to be now called Showdown. I will say this. I was thinking about it earlier today. There was a classic pay-per-view title they could have chosen for this show. Taboo Tuesday was right there. It was right there.
Yeah, especially it would have been cool if they would have if they had the fans vote to decide who was going to be on this. That would have been a really cool concept, especially with Tab. That's something they should be bringing back anyway. Bragging rights was also right there. If they needed stuff from old PLEs, you could have done bragging rights. That's right there. Whereas, have they done a battleground this year?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did a battleground. Yeah.
No. Okay. Well, don't forget about what I said. But bragging rights, I know they haven't done that one. So, but yeah, the Taboo Tuesday would have been dope, especially if you can choose who's on the team. That'd have been cool. The only problem is the whole TNA team was I had no idea who they were going to choose.
They was having a whole summit,
at least on the women's side.
it. Kalani, child, she really had to think long and hard. The fact that Kalani, let's get to Kalani, because you think she's a mole and a traitor and a Trojan horse. So Kalani, no, let's go to the beginning. Let's get our NXT teams set. Okay. So for Team NXT for the dudes, we got Ricky, Trick, Javon, and my dude, Miles. There we go. Miles. I'll make sure I get his name right. Miles Bourne. Then for the ladies, we got JC Jane, NXT Women's Champion. We got Lola Vice. We got Miss Jada Parker and So Ruka. Solid team. Santana. Solid team. Santana's my dude. My dude. Leon Slater. Great pick. Off top. Fantastic. Moose, whatever. And our
I get it. It's fine. Whatever. But he's solid. He's a solid pick.
Solid, whatever. And then Frankie Kazarian in the year 2025 on WWE television. Well, at least, Scott, he was rocking your Lakers colors. So you should appreciate that.
Nah, man. I'm good on Frankie. Y'all had Steve Macklin lose the title, so he couldn't be on this team. Instead, y'all gave me Frankie. Nah, I'm not cool with that.
And then
why didn't you have AJ Francis on this team?
Man, we needed him. That would have been actually great. Oh,
at least as a hype man. He should have at least just been out there hyping it. Where was he at? I'm sorry. I wanted AJ Francis during this.
Yes. But Santana did enough for me. Cheddar biscuits, by the way. Just swag, man. Swag all day. Swag. I mean, that's what the cheddar biscuits come from, having swag on the mic, the confidence this man has. Like, how do you have even more confidence than you had before? Like, that's crazy. They about to drop a big old bag on that man when that contract expires with TNA. Like, they're gonna swoop him up as they should. Let's get to Team Kalani though. As Scott has a thought before we get to Team Kalani. Scott, tell me your thought before we drag her.
No. Go ahead. I'm ready. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Kalani Jordan. So Kalani, our new Knockouts Women's World Champion, was given the assignment to select her team repping TNA. She had lots of thoughts. She made a decision and she picked her team. Help me understand how in the fight for TNA did you select people that legitimately came from NXT? The inspiration, iconic, came from NXT. Mara Sade. She almost said because as recently as, I don't know, 4 months ago, she was also on NXT. So you basically got an all NXT team repping Team TNA.
But don't forget, she told Jordan Grace, who was begging to be on the team, you can't be on the team though because you play for both sides. Listen, I've said it before. Kalani Jordan is the worst promo in WWE. I think she's awful. I think she is god awful on the mic. So there's that. So her talking for me is, she makes Ava look like The Rock again. Whoa. Speaking on the mic. So here's that. Like, I get why she didn't pick Tessa. Very obvious for that one.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? I get that.
Hey, listen. She stood on business. She stood on business.
I get that. I'm cool with that. I get that. Jordan doesn't make sense. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Jakara, cool. I'm with that. But the Iconics, I get that your new TNA tag teams, but like, where's the connection, man? I just, this terrible. This was god awful. Absolutely god. Indy Hartwell, like, what was the whole point of the big stare down? After she counted the 1, 2, 3 at the TNA pay-per-view, if she wasn't going to be there too, where's the drama there? Absolutely terrible.
I just can't wrap my head around what happened, the why of it, because everyone that you picked, Kalani, used to be on NXT. That was Team NXT essentially. Okay, so that happened. Then we had a brawl, and then Ava was just awful, acting shocked and aghast at what was happening. Like, girl, you engineered this, what you thought was going to happen. And then Walker HBK just walks out there like a proud papa. Like, ooh, look at all this violence. Oh, look at all this mess I've created. I love it here.
I was thinking Santino was like going to come from behind him and try to hit him with a cobra and he was going to get super kicked. But no, we literally just had this man walk out, smile at his carnage, and just stand there. And you got Booker T screaming at Ava, yo, you got to do something. You got to do something. And she just put her hand up like, I'm here. I learned from Adam Pearce.
Oh, God.
So, like, this was one of the worst episodes of NXT I've seen in a while. I thought this was terrible. Just absolutely not a good episode, man. Not a good episode.
It was rough. As Fernando said, it felt like children picking teams in PE class.
Yeah.
Like we were picking our dodgeball teams, and that's what this was essentially. And NXT, for real, honestly speaking, has not been a good show for quite some time. I don't know what's happened, but ever since they tried to be many things for many shows, it's been a mess. And they've kind of lost their way and they need to lock back in. This angle here, I will say next week, because it's against AEW, they will absolutely lock in. I think in ring, it'll be a very good show.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, the build-up for this has been awful. And then they have to reset, pretend that TNA and NXT has a healthy, loving relationship, reset for Halloween Havoc, which is their next PLE in 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I will say the one good thing that has come out of this TNA relationship is it'll get Kalani Jordan off my screen for a little while, so she can cut all the promos she wants on Thursday night. So that's a good thing. I am looking forward to that.
Damn, Scott has now transferred all of his smoke towards Kalani Jordan. My apologies on behalf of the rap, because Scott says you are my designated now.
She got it. Hey, it's her this year. It is looking like 2026 is going to be the year Kalani Jordan is going to have to move up from a book bag to something else.
Yes. And to address a rumor that is not a rumor, Lola Vice just re-signed with NXT. She's not going anywhere. So that's not happening. She re-upped. Now, Jasmine Nix, she's available to be signed by anybody at this point if you got more than $9,000 to $5,000.
If you got 6 figures for her to sit on the sidelines, she'd love to come and sign with you.
Absolutely. But Lola's not going anywhere. She's happy. She re-upped. She's doing AAA work. She's with Damian Priest. Where she's going? Not anywhere anytime soon. So,
if they do not get a camera on these NXT men and women and all these goddamn relationships they got going on right now, they trying to do all this unreal stuff, that's your money right there.
That's Love Island, because I could have swore
that's your Love Island right there.
Those two truly 6 months ago were with other people. They were. I saw TikToks.
Well, I'm sorry. Damian, that man be getting around. Okay.
He does. And then it ends quickly as if it never happened.
Yeah, he moves around.
He moves like stealthy in motion. He does. Facts. But if y'all happy, that's good for y'all. I hope it's everlasting. Hope it lasts. What I will say is I wouldn't do any shared socials with him because it won't end well. Okay? It won't end well.
Tiffany just bought a new house.
Is someone in it? Because it's been real quiet. It's been real quiet lately.
Well, that's because he's been working on his Spanish.
Listen, I've been monitoring that situation. It's been quiet. It's been quiet lately because someone went on IG and said that his favorite wrestler was not her, it was Io. I was like, well, okay. Now he knows ball. I'm like, what else is going on here? Potentially.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna need a camera. I don't need Unreal Season 2. I need Keep It Real WWE Superstars and Divas Season 1. I'm gonna need that.
We need a reboot of Total Divas. We need that real love in WWE. We need that.
I'm telling you that they could really, especially on the Peacock.
Yes.
On the Peacock of all like networks, like that's the perfect streaming platform for something like that. With all the housewives and below decks and all that stuff. It's perfect for that.
I love it. I love mess. I do. I love mess. It entertains me greatly. So we'll see where everybody stands in their relationships because, like I said, I didn't know Tiffany bought a house, Scott. Thank you for letting me know. I just said who moved in with her.
She was by herself.
See?
She was just flexing, just flexing. I take it as her flexing that she bought the house solo. You know what I'm saying? So,
So somebody's name wasn't on the deed. Okay.
Somebody took the picture though.
Well, we don't know who. Listen, life hits you fast in WWE. I'm thinking people sit together, they be fooling me all the time. So I can't keep tabs on them. But that was a quick recap of a very bad episode of NXT. Before we go, now let's try to be semi-serious here. Before we bid you all adieu on this first live show, thank you for sticking with us into the late night hour. But before we go, what's tradition here is for us to pick a match of the week that stands out amongst the rest of the shows between Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Evolve. Can't say Speed anymore. That's been canceled on X. But Scott, Elon said, I ain't got it. So budget cuts. But seriously, what is your match of the week?
I think Evans versus Sami Zayn was spectacular. But I will say this, and I will keep it serious for our very first live episode. The tag team match, Leon Slater and Evans versus the Culling, was really, really good. I think it was probably the best Culling match I've ever seen. And Leon Slater and Evans, if they don't have any real plans for them, because whenever they do take Evans or Slater from TNA, because that's going to happen, that needs to be the next great tag team, because those two together are incredible.
Tell you something. I need Leon and Javon as a team. If they have no imminent plans for them, send them directly to SmackDown, and you can just give me that Infraxium all day long, and I'm good on life.
Fraxium, Montez and Angelo.
Yes.
I mean, like the Usos.
Yes.
The Bronze, even the Bron, like give me all of that. Like those two just would actually, versus the Bronze in particular, them working from underneath and having those great type of comebacks and hot tags and whatnot. Yeah, they would get over so quickly.
Oh man. I mean, what we're going to get imminently at Bound for Glory with Leon and Javon is going to be incredible. That could easily be a match of the year candidate if they just go out there and cook. If they have them as a tag team, even better. But yeah, in a perfect world, if they have nothing else to do, put them in a tag team and they would just kill it. So that was definitely a high spot from a very blasé NXT. If I had to pick a match of the week, I will also go with Javon versus Sami Zayn on SmackDown. That was a great match. Loved it. Push Javon Evans, please. Just push him to the moon. That's all we ask. Don't waste his time. Don't waste his years. Don't waste his talent.
Yeah, you got one. So, and just don't let Triple H see him. Just let him just keep seeing his name and the reactions, but don't let him actually see him.
Oh, Lord, that is a big ask. It's a big ask indeed. Oh, Lord, let's pray on it. And now we must bid you all adieu, as this is a wrap for our first live edition of The Wrap right here on the Fight Game Media Network YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank my co-captain, Salty Scott Young, who is wearing his special glasses by way of my guy, Dion, from Dark State, Bookworm, Dion. Yes, sir.
First of all, okay, these are my Reading Rainbow specialties. All right, okay, these are my Touched by an Angels. But yeah, forgot to have my reading glasses on, didn't switch out, but that's okay. Yeah, as always, it's a pleasure to chop it up, talk all things WWE. Look forward to doing this every week. We love the live show. Thank everyone for hanging out. Fernando, as always, we appreciate you hanging out. So yeah, this was fun. And yeah, oh, by the way, Reading Rainbow is coming back with some librarian. Don't know what his name is, but it's on the way back.
Michael is his name. Some librarian.
There it is.
A lovely librarian. Reading Rainbow is coming back. I will not sing the theme song. It's very tempting. I will not do that.
You got to hit that note if you do. So that's on you.
Listen, I can't do it. I won't do it. Shout out to the butterfly. Shout out to LeVar Burton, a legend, black legend, the legend, the LeVar Burton. Okay, that's just a king right there, all day, every day. A king that got us through multiple phases of my childhood. Multiple. Man went to space. Man taught me how to read. Come on now.
Man told me to remember my name.
Yes.
Taught me you better remember your name, boy. Okay, you better remember your name.
Listen, my name is Kuta Kinte. I ain't no Toby. You hear me? Who the hell's Toby? It ain't me.
Toby. How white of a name was that, Toby?
One of the greats, a king that we always appreciate and respect so much. I highly respect him. So Reading Rainbow's coming back. We might break out a book and read it. You never know. It could be read along with the rap. You never know. But we'll be back next Tuesday night around 11 o'clock p.m.-ish. And we're going to talk about Crown Jewel preview show about people winning big ass gaudy belts and rings that won't be seen beyond the week they win them. We're going to talk about that, talk about the week that was in WWE, and get you prepped for that show next Saturday. And Scott, it's going to be at a godly hour, 8 o'clock in the morning, which is better than 4 a.m.
I ain't gonna hold you. I might be able to watch that show. I can go watch that before I go to work. That ain't too bad.
No, I can actually wake up at 6:30, refreshed and replenished, because SmackDown gonna knock me out by 10. I'm gonna give me a good 7 hours in.
SmackDown ain't getting watched on Friday night, so it won't worry about me knocking me out. But yeah, at 8 o'clock, I'm with that.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. An 8 to 11 show in the morning. Get out by 12. I'm good. I'm good
with that.
Yeah, I was with that too. Like, 8 o'clock in the morning. Could call ESPN. Already perks to this relationship. We are not doing a 4 o'clock in the morning show. Who the fuck gonna be up? Right. Truly, at 4 a.m. Not I. But we'll be back next week to talk about the Crown Jewel preview right here on the Fight Game Media Network. You can listen via audio and, of course, watch us live every Tuesday now. So for myself and for Salty Scott Young, that is a wrap for all things WWE. Take care and bye-bye.